before I press the button to start recording, Kentucky stuns Oklahoma at the buzzer 85-84 to advance to quarterfinal Friday. We will discuss that we will discuss everything college basketball. No, I'm missing NFL free agency. I will get that video out some point next week. Let's just jump into it. I usually try to go in chronological order. We're not doing that tonight. We got to talk about the SEC. Kentucky, in basically a home game of sorts, stuns Oklahoma 85-84. Otega Oweh does it again at the buzzer. Wow. I feel, number one, feel bad for Oklahoma. A win would have certainly solidified themselves in the SEC tournament, NCAA tournament. They had it. They were down 80-70, and they went to a press. Lamont Butler injured his shoulder in this game, re-injured it, so he was out. He never returned. I don't know what that status is for tomorrow. They went to a press. They started pressing, obviously got some traps, lost the ball. This is March. 4-game winners today. I believe 4-game winners today. Some crazy games today. This game, look, Kentucky was the better team overall in this game. They deserved to win it. Kentucky, they had their flow on offense. I really think they did a good job on the boards during the game. They out-rebounded Oklahoma by 8. They were just better, I thought, in most categories. I know there were some stretches in there where it was tough, but man, this kid Jeremiah Fears for Oklahoma. Last night you beat Georgia, who's most likely going to the NCAA tournament. I think he had like 30 plus. Tonight he had 28. I thought he hit the game winner. Otega Oweh gets downhill to win the game. It is literally unbelievable. You cannot make this SEC tournament up if you tried. Every single game outside of LSU, Mississippi State has been absolutely incredible. Absolutely incredible. What a game. What a win. Otega Oweh does it to Oklahoma again. And Kentucky advances to take on Alabama in quarterfinal Friday. That will be fun. Later today, quarterfinal Friday. That will be a fun one. Cannot wait for that. Let's just go through the whole SEC just quickly, and then we'll get into the other ones. Okay, let's go back to the first game here to start. The Ole Miss taking on Arkansas. Arkansas beat South Carolina. It wasn't convincingly, but they beat them. Arkansas, as long as there's no bid, Steelers pretty much going to the NCAA tournament, not even in the first 4. Depends on what everything else does happen with everything else. What a game. Arkansas got down and they found a way to come back. DJ Wagner did not have his best day, but Jonas Adu has stepped up in the tournament. Billy Richmond stepped up in the tournament, but the key was the free throws. When you're 21-32 at the line, that's brutal as well. Arkansas did a really good job for some stretches. Like, if Arkansas could put together a full 40-minute game, they're dangerous in the tournament. I believe they could put together a full 40-minute game. They're just good for stretches, and that's a problem. I think Ole Miss has been a team that could get upset, or they could win a game or two, depending on. But they play well. Jalen Murray had 17. Malik Dia, when he plays like that, he had 19. He was very efficient. Would have had 20 if he could just hit two of his free throws, but he hadn't hit a three all day. And when they needed it, Sean Padula hits the big three to beat Arkansas in this game in advance to play Auburn tomorrow out or today in 12 hours. Yes, this is March indeed. This was just the start of a fantastic Thursday slate. Padula put in the big one. You just can't make it up. You cannot make this script up. Chris Beard has done a fantastic job with Ole Miss this year. Ole Miss riding a little bit of momentum. They beat Tennessee in the last week in the regular season. I know they lost on the road at Florida, but Florida's really good. Today, they came up big. They didn't even really shoot it the greatest from three. I mean, they were 8 for 24. And 46%, you could make the argument for maybe the entirety of the second half, Arkansas was the better team. They just kept coming and coming. But Ole Miss, they just struck through there. They just stuck through it. They're gritty. They don't give in. Not shout out. Trevon Brazile, I feel bad for the guy. He's played great. He had 15 and 11 today. He played well. Missed the 2 free throws at the end. And then Padula pulls up. Ball game. Ole Miss advances. Arkansas, they should be safe for Selection Sunday. They should be. But it really depends. Again, they advance to take on Auburn in quarterfinal Friday. Let's talk about, though, the game that had probably the most bubble implications in terms of the team. Texas and Texas A&M. Texas beats Texas A&M in double overtime. 94-89. Let's talk about it. Texas, I don't think they're in yet, personally. I know a lot of people will say that's crazy, but you have to understand, I know they have a lot of quad one wins, but 19 and 15, it's iffy. I think to be safe, they have to win tomorrow to be safe. Same thing with Carolina. We'll get into that. We'll also get into Cooper Flag and what that means. But yeah, I just thought Texas did a great job of matching just Texas A&M's toughness. They didn't beat them on the boards. Like, they out rebounded them by 13. Like, Texas A&M had 20 offensive rebounds. But I just thought, and A&M, look, two of their big time guys struggled. I mean, Zurich Phelps, 3 for 19. Wade Taylor, outside free throws, he got 18 free throws, but 5 for 18, 2 for 7. I thought Texas did a really great job on those two guys. I just thought they just kept fighting. And Texas A&M plays hard. I just thought Texas, they just kept coming and kept battling. Trey Johnson played very well with 20. Tremont Markey fouled out in the first overtime. Chindo Weaver gave him 10 points coming off the bench. He was huge. I just thought Texas, just even when Texas A&M would make a run or try to close out the game, Texas would not give in. Caden Shedrick at the line, 10 for 10 was huge. Hit the guy, got the shot to, I think, send it into overtime. Yeah, got the dunk. Big time for Texas. Now, in terms of the bubble in the NCAA tournament, are they in? I don't know. Again, they have some losses. I have to see what the committee obviously thinks on Sunday. We'll see. Like, it's just so hard to control your fate when you're not playing. Texas obviously controls their fate at playing. Texas A&M will probably be a 3 seed, I assume, going into the NCAA tournament, which is not bad if you're Buzz Williams. Okay, you tough loss to a rival, but you get some extra rest. I don't, I don't, I don't think you're sweating that. Texas advances to take on Tennessee, Rick Barnes in quarterfinal Friday. Big time. Now, the last game, not chronological order, but Missouri beats Mississippi State. Mississippi State had a dominating win. Mississippi State in the dance, firmly in. Missouri played well today. I thought, look, Mississippi State did a good job on the boards, but they could not buy a 3 today. Missouri I thought did a decent job on defense, really making them take some tough shots. I thought, and obviously them not being able to get a 3 to fall for most of the game helps. And then obviously was Missouri. I thought, they had great ball movement. And they were able to close. It was tied at 69 with about 4 minutes left. You see the defense really locked them up. 16-4 run, able to close. That's big. They advanced to quarterfinal Friday to take on Florida, who they beat in Gainesville, so they'll have a little bit of confidence. Tamar Bates with 25 points. Him and Tony Perkins, again, to win in March, it's about your backcourt. The backcourt of Tamar Bates and Tony Perkins played outstanding today and was really efficient. And that's why they won. And that's why they're going to the SEC tournament. And ultimately why they're going to the the NCAA tournament. These Tigers can make some noise in March because of how well they can score the basketball. They were on a 3-game losing streak. You don't like that. Coming in, you want to get off the snide, just have some momentum going to March, but they have a tough one today against Florida. Your quarterfinal Friday for the SEC: Auburn and Ole Miss, Tennessee and Texas, Florida, Missouri, and to cap it off, Alabama, Kentucky. Winner advances to semifinal Saturday. But that tournament has just been insane in the SEC. It's just been so good. Now, let's go to another bubble team that lost today. Indiana takes a loss to Oregon. I put on my story that I feel like Indiana's in, barring any bid stealers. In terms of sorts, I think I use in right now. I think in terms of your final, maybe final 4 teams that could go. I mean, you're kind of looking at I think 3 of the final 4. I think you're looking at Indiana, Oklahoma, Texas. Now Boise, obviously it depends on what they do. You gotta fill the tournament. If North Carolina loses tomorrow, things get interesting. That's going to be a big debate. People, I know Indiana fans are upset about this loss, and rightfully should be. Oregon's really good. They're going to give Michigan State some problems in this quarterfinal. They're going to give Michigan State some problems. Look, Oregon, I thought TJ Bamba was great defensively, and he was able to get some buckets. I thought Jackson Shelstad, whenever they needed a bucket, they got him. he was their guy. I thought Oregon did a great job of exploiting the matchups. Nate Biddle didn't. He wasn't great in the game, but obviously Bamba. To me, the reason they won, Brandon Angel, very efficient at 14 points in 18 minutes. And then TJ Bamba was big, and Barthélemy was big as well. The defense they played on Indiana was great. Indiana just could not buy a shot for portions of this game. And look, outside of Malik Reneau and Galloway, I mean, Baco had 12, but even Galloway was 6 for 18, not good. Look, when Rice gives you 0 points in 28 minutes, when Goody plays 33 minutes and gives you 1 point, you're not gonna win games like that. It's just not gonna happen. So it's really hard to determine their fate, obviously. We'll see tomorrow. To me, their fate lies in the hands of Texas and North Carolina, potentially, and Boise. San Diego State, I think, is kind of done. I mean, they did beat Houston, so maybe they're holding on to that. It really depends. Like with these bubble teams, there's no separation. I could make an argument for Indiana to be in. I could make an argument for them to be out. I'm going to make the argument for them to be in because I feel like, yes, 19 and 13, 10 and 10 in the Big Ten. They have no quad 2, 3, and 4 losses. All of their losses have been to good teams in quad 1. And they've beaten some good teams in quad 1. So I feel like, okay, you've beaten some teams in the field, and then you've lost to some close games to some teams in the field. And when I'm looking at the bubble, I'm just like, it's not strong this year, so I think they should be in. This is not like last year. Now, obviously, right now I think they should be in, but again, it depends on some results. Obviously, Texas has to beat Tennessee, and then North Carolina has to beat Duke. What really helped Indiana's cause was Xavier losing, which we will get into that. That was a fantastic game in the Garden. I think that really helped their cause. But Oregon advances to quarterfinal Friday to play Michigan State. Again, they advance to play the Spartans, and who knows what can happen. Oregon's hot, Michigan State's hot. Oregon played Michigan State well, even when they were on the slide. Now they got some momentum. Winner advances to semifinal Saturday on CBS. But let's go to the big story in the ACC. Cooper Flagg on a rebound turns his ankle really bad. At a point was in a wheelchair. He ended up being able to walk back to the bench on his own power, coming back. And he came back, not into the game, but just on the bench, watched as Duke was able to overcome a 5.7 second half deficit to win the game. Con Canupo had 28. Isaiah Evans chipped in with 14. Kaman Maluch had 14 and 9. They were struck. Duke, I think early on was struggling because they had some rust. I think that's mainly what it was and why they were struggling early on. They couldn't really buy a 3 early. They hit some later. But the big thing is Cooper Flagg. Now, a lot of people are thinking, should Cooper Flagg play on Friday? Here's my unfiltered opinion. No. F no. No. He should not play on Friday. If you are the Duke Blue Devils, you won the ACC regular season. Whether you win or lose to Carolina, you're gonna be a 1 seed. It's just about if you're number 1 overall or number 2 overall. That's all it's about. I don't know if that makes a big difference to Jon Scheyer, but there is no reason to put your star player in jeopardy. And he even said in the press conference, like, it's going to take everybody telling me that he should play, and that if he's good to go, he can play. Cooper Flagg should not touch that floor. They will have a game either on Thursday or Friday of the first round of the tournament. I wouldn't advise him sitting. Now, if he sits out the first game, look, that's dangerous. 16 seed, that is dangerous. That's a dangerous game to play, obviously. But I think if he's ready to go for the first round of 64, obviously play him. Obviously, you're going to play him. But in terms of this next game or next two, no, sit him down. Don't even risk it. There's no point in even risking it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Otherwise, Duke good win. So I know a lot of people say are paying attention to Cooper Flagg, but this team has some great talent. Malucha's a good player. Con Knuppel, really good player. Zion James, good player. I know Proctor, he kind of struggled today. Isaiah Evans coming off the bench, good player. Georgia Tech gave a great fight. Duncan Powell at 24, but just not enough, obviously, today. Duke advances to their semifinal to take on, well, North Carolina. You knew that. North Carolina beats Wake. This was a bubble matchup. Loser out, winner still potentially has some work to do. This was a very physical, clunky game. I thought the refs were awful in this game. North Carolina won ugly because they did not shoot it well. They shot 34% and 36%. They did not win this game. But when they needed it down the stretch, they did it. Elliot Cadeau was okay at 8. RJ Davis at 23 points. Again, he's just so poised in these moments. Then Alan Lubin, I know people will look at the box score and be like, well, he was 4 for 12, but he had 10 points, 13 rebounds. That's crucial. That's why Hubert Davis kept him in the game with 4 fouls. Turns away, Hunter Salas had 25. Both teams, first of all, the difference in the game is the 3 ball. UNC was not terrible. They were 8 for 22. It's not awful. Wake Forest were terrible from the 3. They were 2 for 22. It's hard to win like that when you just, again, had so many points in the game where you could have extended the lead and you got good looks and you just could not hit them. And then you get out rebounded. Look, North Carolina, the last 5 minutes, they just wanted it more. I felt like them, Wake, and they executed better, and that's why they won the game. Now, a lot of people will look at their resume and say 22-12, 13-7 in the ACC. How is North Carolina out to some people? It's because you're 1-11 in quad one, and that is a big thing when it comes to the committee. Beat Duke, and you're in. Doesn't even matter. You might as well go on and clinch an automatic bid if you can, because you'd be in the final. But as of right now, it's dicey. I don't know. It's dicey. It is dicey. But shout out North Carolina. They've been handling their business. But can they beat? If you can't beat Duke without Cooper Flagg, And Duke is still a good team without Cooper Flag, but they're not. I don't think they're one seed without Cooper Flag. Look, this is a golden opportunity. No Cooper Flag, a chance to get in the tournament. You've played them twice. You've lost twice. If you cannot beat them in a neutral site without Cooper Flag for a chance to solidify a tournament berth, I can't help you. I don't know. They will obviously that will be one of your semifinals. Your other semifinal will be Clemson and Louisville. Let's start with Clemson. Clemson wins a game that was mucked up against SMU. They win it 57-54. Look, Clemson is one of those teams that is being slept on, but I feel like, look, last year they got to the Elite Eight. They just fell short against Alabama. I feel like this year, if they can win it. They can get to the Final Four. They could be a sleeper. Chase Hunter back with that year of experience. Ian Shefflin back. I thought defensively they played really well. Again, they mucked the game up. Sorry, that was Kentucky on the screen, but they mucked the game up, and that's what or SMU mucked the game up. Excuse me, and that's how SMU wanted to play. But obviously, SMU needed to win this game to potentially be at large. Now they're cooked. Clemson showed they can win ugly. And that's huge going into the tournament. Now, in terms of tournament, what seed will they be? I'm probably guessing a 4 or 5. That's what I'm guessing. Potentially, maybe a 6, but good win for Clemson. Louisville, Chucky Hepburn hits a game winner to stun Stanford and eliminate any chance Stanford had of the tournament. They would have had to go on and win it. They do it. Chucky Hepburn. What a game. Pat Kelsey has done a fantastic job with this program. And then he's just hit so many big shots. And that semifinal tomorrow will be fun between them and Clemson. 2 tournament teams. Cannot wait. Terrence Edwards Jr. at 25. Chucky Hepburn at 20. They didn't really go deep into their bench tonight, which, again, when you're starting 5, when they're so strong, when you're starting 5 strong like that, I can kind of understand it. Javon Hadley didn't have the greatest night. I really thought they moved the ball well, obviously. Defensively, they were fine. Rebounding, they were fine. I really thought it just was an evenly played game by both teams. But Louisville finding a way. They've gone from 8 wins to 26. 8 wins to 26. That is an 18 win. That's an 18 game improvement. Tip of the hat to Pat Kelsey. Obviously, we'll be seeing them in the big dance. Big time win. Now let's go to a bubble team in the Big East. Big East. Xavier Marquette was the big one. Xavier win this game and you're in the NCAA tournament. They couldn't do it. Ryan Conwell dropped 38 points at MSG, but it was not enough. Cam Jones and Marquette get off the snide. They will face St. John's, who destroyed Butler. Not going over that game. We know what happened. Destroyed Butler. And that will be your first Big East semifinal on semifinal Friday for them tomorrow. This was quarterfinal Thursday for them. Marquette, man, they they played, man, because there was a couple times where I'm like, Xavier, they're up 10. Is Xavier kind of going to pull away and run away with this game? And Marquette, they always stayed close. Their defense wasn't great the entire game, but at points was phenomenal. I feel bad for Ryan Conwell. 38 points. He really tried to will his team to win. It just did not happen. Cam Jones had it going. To me, the key in the game was Stevie Mitchell. He was really great on backdoor cuts and getting in the lane. And also when they needed them most. David Joplin, he had some big shots. And Joplin was in foul trouble. Like he had 4 fouls, but he still came in and he hit some big shots. I just think the supporting cast around Conwell was not great today or yesterday. Well, screw, we're calling it today. But Cam Jones, supporting cast, when you get 16 from Chase Ross, 16 from Stevie Mitchell, and you get 14 for Joplin. Joplin has some big threes. It's big. Marquette, they get another shot at St. John's. They felt like they should have beat them the last time. That'll be a fun game in the Big East semis. MSG was turned for Marquette and Xavier in the Instant Classic. The other Big East semifinal is Creighton and UConn. UConn beat Villanova, ending Villanova's at-large hopes. UConn wins it 73-56. Not going the Creighton DePaul game, 2 overtimes crazy, but we just don't have time to go over that. UConn put off a big time win. 73-56. I thought defensively, first half they were just getting straight line drive. Straight line drive. But when you hold a team to 20 points in the second half, you are going to win a lot of games. UConn really did a nice job. I thought Caravan was good. I thought Aiden Mahaney came in and gave them a good lift off the bench. They just, when you hold Eric Dixon at 8 points, 2 of 15 shooting, you are going to win that basketball game most likely against Villanova. You're going to win it. Tough game. UConn advances to play Creighton in the Big East semifinal. Look, UConn, they've talked about how they haven't been great defensively this year, and that's what kept them from being elite. They're catching their stride at the right time. Let's see, in the Big 12, Iowa State beats BYU in a classic. Or Iowa State. BYU beats Iowa State in the classic 96-92. BYU will advance to semifinal Friday to take on Houston. Houston beat Colorado. Colorado trying to be a bid stealer. Not going to happen. In the second semifinal, it will be Arizona. Arizona beats Kansas in the late slate. They will take on Texas Tech, who survived against Baylor in the other semifinal, in the other quarterfinal. So those are your semifinals for the Big 12. In the Big 10, your quarterfinals are Michigan State, Oregon, UCLA, Wisconsin. UCLA got the double bye. Wisconsin beat Northwestern today. Illinois beats Fran McCaffrey in Iowa, so they will advance to take on Maryland, and Purdue survives USC. They will go and take on Michigan. So those are your quarterfinals. That's there for quarterfinal Friday. In the Big Ten. Just before I go, quick bubble watch. Boise beat San Diego State 62-52. Boise inching closer to the field here. San Diego State, it depends. That win against Houston really helping them. But this was a tough one to lose. They lose to Boise. Boise plays New Mexico tomorrow in the Mountain West semifinal. You win that, and you most likely will find yourself dancing. And if you're not dancing, then well, just you got to go on and win the whole thing. But that will not be an easy game if you are a bubble team tomorrow. That's not playing in Indiana and Xavier, whoever you are. Your games to watch: St. Bonaventure at VCU, because if VCU loses, they're done. Let's see here. Texas at Tennessee, North Carolina at Duke. That's big. And then obviously St. Joseph's at Dayton. Why? Because Dayton potentially may get an at large. They're 5-4 against the field. They could potentially find themselves getting an at large. And Boise State in New Mexico. If Boise State loses, they're probably out. New Mexico, they're not really on the bubble. They're going to be in the Mountain West. It's iffy if they're 4-bit league. I think New Mexico's in. I think Utah State is in. I think you could probably put Colorado State in too. Boise, San Diego State, it's iffy. But they can be a 4-big league. All right. That has been your recap episode of the Don't Argue with the Facts podcast. I've been your host, Noah Love, and this will be up in the morning. Well, it's already morning, but it'll be up later today. Until next time, or until I come back with the Friday recap. See ya.